Last video, a few weeks ago, I started on the LS-6 there, taking it apart, switching gears here, been back on the 62, getting it pieced together, getting a little bit of the trim on, doing a little more polishing. Still got to put the door handles on and stuff, but it's coming along, starting to look like something. And yeah, sprayed inside the trunk, and I'm really happy with how that looks. I think it looks fantastic. Cleans her up nice. And yeah, more trim on this side. This is actually dust, so don't freak out. I did try and mask it up good, but it's just actually a little bit dust. You can see it coming off like no problem, but I'll wash all up that after. Got a master, no, it's not the stock one. But it's going to be a driver, so we're putting a dual master cylinder. It's a GM one, so I think it'll be okay. Just sits in there, and no power brakes on this. This is gonna be a clanky bangy 409, so we don't need any power brakes. Yeah, pretty much gonna be stock, but yeah, coming along slowly, messing around. I picked up a repop of the dual snorkel air cleaner, and I really like how it looks. Changing subjects again, but I actually like it, even though it's not a 427 and nothing about this car is original, but I think it still has the right look. I think some of the keep your GM, all GM guys will still appreciate the look. I have the PCV hooked up, things like that. Aftermarket intake, but I've got these big AFR rec port heads on here, and I really like this intake, this Brodex dual plane. It's lower height wise, so for hood clearance issues, it's a nice choice. For those that were wondering what that is. Yeah, what else is going on? Grab my pen. I've been shuffling around, trying to make room so I can actually utilize my booth. Anyways, so this is what I was interested. I've cracked the caps loose on the main bearings here. Here's number one. Oh, dropping bolts. You can see a little bit of shiny here and there, but overall, it's not that bad at all. Grab that bolt, but it's coming apart and getting fully cleaned up and all that good stuff. So I cracked these loose here, or so I thought I did. Yes, I did. Maybe I missed one. Oh no. Just a little bit snug a little too snug without some leverage. Okay. Got that all good. And here we go. And This is my brass. Just a little tappy. Nothing crazy. There I go. And here's number 2. I'm seeing it. Oh, look at that. Piece of something went through there and scored up the bearing. Interesting, eh? That's interesting. Something went through, but yet it didn't even touch the crank. Barely put a nick in the crank. Whew. Interesting. Very interesting, that. And behind door number 3, nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy yet, which is a good thing. Number 4. Not terrible. I will say though, I was expecting them to look, I mean, they're not terrible by any stretch, but I was expecting them to look a little bit better. Because when this went together, it did sit a lot of years. And when I was in the car, there wasn't a whole lot of miles. Wasn't a whole lot of miles put on it. Again, it's a brass hammer, so I'm not gonna hurt anything. And there we go, the rear main looks good. Just hardly took, just a little skiff of something went through there. It's kind of interesting that but it is what it is. That's okay. So there was a comment made about the crank, and I'll grab a cloth. I'll be a second here. There was a comment made saying something that it looked like an aftermarket crank. And from the color, why don't I raise this up a bit, angle it down. I'll bring it in, angle it down. So yeah, I can see, you know, someone thinking that by the color, how gray it looks, but this is actually the legit. This is the, I did polish on the rod throws here. That's all that is. Just a little, thought I'd give a quick while it was sitting in the block, because it really doesn't need anything here. I mean, I could take it in I don't even know. Well, I would say it's not even worth it for me to take it in and get it polished. It looks pretty darn nice. So I'll just give it a quick, just because I'll end up putting new bearings in it. And it's all standard. Let's see if we can roll this around and find some numbers for the techie guru guys out there. I did see it. Yep, there it is. I'll see if I can grab a marker and highlight the numbers. Highlight the numbers for the GM numbers guru guys out there. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it highlights it a little bit. So we'll bring this in and we can see that it is in fact right here. It's 7416. Hopefully that shows up. So, and you can see obviously the wide parting. It's the forged. So it's the right here, the GM. It's the LS-6 454 crank, and it is, I know it is standard on everything because I checked the back of the bearings, and I remember a little bit from when that went together way back when I was a kid. Here's a rod bearing. So it's, you know, nothing crazy, a little bit of wear, but nothing terrible. And there's the numbers if they're showing. I don't know if they'll show up in the video or not. Possibly. But anyways. Okay, see if I can lift this out. Slide my drip tray over a bit. Okay. And yeah, I mean, those look of course the one fell out, but you can see there's hardly any, barely took the kind of the gray off. So I mean, the upper halves are like new. You see the crosshatch still down in the cylinders there, so a little bit of something went in here. It's not even deep, superficial. Obviously this is gasket material here, but it's in pretty darn good shape, that's for sure. We won't be getting any machining done, that's for sure. All right. And So there's the numbers there. I don't know if they're showing up. Maybe I can get a little put a little bit of see if we can get some yellow ink in there so it's it might have worked. If the number's showing up. But yeah, the GM Marina 400 bearings. Haven't seen those in forever. Nothing crazy there. Yeah. I don't know how good the lighting is or not. But again, show up. See, all the block here is all just needs a good clean. Rod bearings, windage tray there. So yeah, back to our crank. It was checked. I was talking to my dad, and when he put it together, he had the crank checked, and had a little bit of work done on it. But that was all done. That was all done by Les Davenport himself. For those that are familiar, used to run Les Davenport machine in Calgary, Alberta back in the day. Yeah, he was definitely one of the top machine shops around. And for those that are into racing will know that name. But yeah, so here's the, you see the crank's it's not scored up. I mean, if the video is making it look scored up, I don't know if it is or not, but it's, you have to take my word for it. This thing's in fantastic shape. And it's, yeah, LS-6. So it's standard. It's forged and tough tried it as well. And it's cross drilled. So you can see right through if the camera's showing. So as well as feeding the, it's cross drilled all the way through. So that would have, yeah. So it's quite a stout piece that they used for a, if you think back to 1970 performance, but I guess we could say 1970 was kind of the, I don't know, I guess we could say the king. I guess some would argue it, but I don't know. I think the 70 was a good year for everyone. Whether you're a Ford, Dodge, or GM guy, everybody was making lots of smoke in 70, I would say, in my opinion. Still lots of battles on, still lots of comments and battles on on the social media about who's the king. It's kind of fun, kind of entertainment reading all the comments when you get the old boys out there arguing about their muscle cars. But anyways, it's good though. It keeps them young at heart. Nothing like some good old competition. And I've had pistons soaking in here now for quite a while, over a week. So I'm hoping we'll get these cleaned up. Oh yeah, it's softening up. Oh yeah, those will clean up. So for those that are maybe never seen there's the factory forged dome piston, TRW, and the big 7/16 rod bolts, as opposed to the end. You see the little, here's the dimple here on the rod. But I'll get these all cleaned up. The only thing I did find when I knocked out number one, when number one came out, the top ring dropped out in two pieces. So that was the only thing that was a little, yeah, that was the only thing that I found that was definitely out of the ordinary, because shouldn't have had a broken ring, but it did. But luckily it doesn't seem to have damaged the cylinder wall, which is good, because we've seen that happen. And you know what? This could have happened. Hey, it could have happened when this thing went together. Just had it's the only one that's broken, so it could have happened when it was in. Maybe it was hanging up a bit, and I mean, I don't know. I guess anything's possible. Maybe it had a slight fracture, or maybe when it was put on the piston, it was spread too far. I don't know. I kind of doubt it, because, geez, my dad put together a lot of engines in his day. But he, like he said, anything's possible, right? Things happen. But that was it. Yeah, the one broken ring. So I'll get this block. I'll clean it up really good. And we will put this back together, because my intent is to keep it all GM. Keep your GM all GM. There's the number again, 7416. Yeah, I think that's about it. Working on putting in a new reg joint in the steering shaft, so for the 62. Emergency brake bracket there, and tubs of parts and pieces to go, so long ways to go, but it is starting to, flip this up. Actually looks pretty good when you look at even though it's not all together, but it does look, the more trim, it's starting to look like something. All right, you gotta look down the side this way. But be good when I get the weather strips in, and then I can final adjust the doors. Well, when I get the glass in too, because the weight of the glass tends to make the doors want to drop a bit. So when I put the doors on, I usually set them so they're just a little bit up. So by the time you get the glass and everything and they settle, they sit about right. But that's yeah, it's I mean, I don't know. Hey, who doesn't like a 62 409? I don't know. Anyways, okay, that's all I got for tonight. Kind of rushing through something. I haven't posted anything in a while, and I've got some new subscribers magically. So So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. It kind of makes me feel like I need to try and put out better videos, take things to the next level, whatever that is. But until the next time, we're winter here where I'm at, Alberta, Canada. We've been pretty lucky. It's been fairly warm, but yeah, Christmas is just around the corner coming up. So if I don't post anything before then, I'll say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and all the best to everybody for the new year. And thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll see if I have something before then or not. But till the next time.